First off, that's a great question because that is the whole point of what we're trying to do with this show is
I thought I had this handled when she shows up in my home.
I'm not going to be ignored, Dan.
Fatal Attraction, the original movie, is 2 hours long. And a very obvious but significant difference is that with this new show, we have episodes, and that means you have more time to explore the psychology of your character and more time to see the impact and the implications of a story like this. And I want to ask you, what shocked you the most after your journey with your character?
What shocked me? First off, that's a great question because that is the whole point of what we're trying to do with this show is to take the opportunity that more time gives you and to really examine and look at the characters and the situation that they're in. So I don't know if it's that I think it's shocking, but the opportunity to tell the story of Dan then as an older man trying to rebuild his life, dealing with the consequences of the action that he took at the beginning of the story. There was a scene towards the end of the series between Dan and his daughter that to me, I was like, that is the point of this whole show. I mean, it was one of the most emotionally impactful scenes that I've performed in many, many, many years.
A few months ago, Glenn Close did an interview. She always defended her character and how she's not a psychopath, that she is this self-destructive person. Even her character had a different ending in the movie. She was going to kill herself, and they changed that. And I see a very, very interesting opportunity to revisit the story today because we are different people. We think different. We have different approaches. And we talk more and more, thankfully, about mental health. And I want you to, you don't have the same character as Glenn Close, you have the other one, but I want you to talk about how you felt different about that subject, mental health.
Well, sure. I mean, I think that's the biggest reason why to tell this story again. Right? It's no longer okay to just say, oh, well, she's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And so even if there is a diagnosable issue, it's still not, oh, they're crazy, right? It's that this person is struggling with a specific or maybe several specific mental health issues. And that first question that you asked, what do you do with all the extra time that you have? Well, what you do is you give an explanation without excusing, but you give an explanation for who this woman is, why she is, where she came from. And you also, with an empathetic eye, any person who's going through a mental health crisis, very rarely are they self-aware, right? It does happen. But from her perspective, when she's in the middle of an episode, all of her actions are completely logical. She's not acting crazy. She's acting in accordance with her own mindset and framework. And so the opportunity for our story to tell her perspective from a more empathetic or sympathetic perspective also allows us then to turn the lens around on Dan and say, well, wait a minute, you're not free and clear in this either. What was it in you that saw this woman where there's a massive power imbalance, right? And in a moment where your ego was feeling fragile, you looked out for somebody who would affirm your ego. And what does that say about you as a man? And then when you did the thing, you couldn't take responsibility for it, and you were willing to risk everybody around you to preserve your own pride and ego. So what does that say about you as a man? And then we flash all the way forward. We come back to a guy who still can't deal with the repercussions of his actions, and from zero has to rebuild his sense of self and identity. And what does that say about you as a man? So to me, the film is iconic. And as a film, if you take culture and politics out of it, it works, right? It's a compelling story. The performances are fantastic. The camera moves. The plot is great. Everything's working in it. It looks sexy. They're sexy. It's all great, right? But if you look at it from a modern perspective, if you put the culture and you put the politics back in, it doesn't work, right? As a man, I wouldn't want to play a man like that. And I totally understand where Glenn Close is coming from, of saying, look, she's not a crazy person, right? That just flattens her. It takes away her agency. It makes her two-dimensional. She's just the boogeyman at that point. And so we take the opportunity to go and redress that by using the extra time that we have to put back all of those things that Glenn Close wanted to put into Alex Forrest, and also put a bunch more, focus and attention on what the repercussions of Dan's actions are, and try to balance out the scales a little bit.
Wow, I have to wrap. I just want to thank you for that answer. Congratulations on the show. It was an honor to talk to you, Joshua. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was lovely to talk to you too.
Bye.
I did not kill that woman, and I'm going to prove it.